By the way, if you're up for it, I'll probably play a little bit of Warzone after. Not sure how you. Yeah. Sorry. By the way, I was sorry to hear that Katie had a bad week. Hopefully. Oh. Oh. Okay. Yeah. 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 Still, not necessarily a lot of fun. So. All right. And I'm seeing it looks like it is working on Twitch now. So based off of what I'm seeing. Cool. All right. Nice. It looks like we're live on Facebook. I think we're live on YouTube. We are. Okay. Cool. All right. You ready? All right. So when I go this time, I think what it's going to do is it's going to go to the video intro only. So we won't be like on screen at all like last time. And then when it's done, I'll switch to the screen where we're the talking heads. And I also added a exit screen as well. So that says, hey, thanks for watching kind of thing. So, all right. All right. Here we go. Hey there, folks. I'm Patrick Knaus, and this is my brother,
Doug.
And we're Two Brothers Gaming. So thanks for joining us tonight. So I'm going to try to figure out, it doesn't look like we have our Roll20 window up. So let me see what's going on with that. But yeah, so Doug, I mean, we've been playing RPG since the 1980s, right?
Long time.
Yep. And we've decided that, we'd like to play them like we did then. One game, one player, and, you're playing more than one PC, so.
I am.
All right. Yeah. So, and we play Traveler, Cyberpunk, D&D, Twilight 2000, Witcher, Delta Green, which is what we're playing tonight, Pathfinder, and many others. So we'll be streaming our games and hope you enjoy the ride. All right. And we'll probably also have the occasional guest player, right? So and maybe more surprised based off of some of our recent discussions. So um, if you like what you see here, follow us. Let us know in the comments. Really appreciate it. So yeah, well, why don't we get started? Tonight we are playing Delta Green, episode 2 of Tales of the Die. So we played this a week or so ago, and so Doug, why don't you give us a quick intro? What are the characters you're playing, and what you recall from the last session?
Okay. I have two characters I'm playing, both agents within Delta Green. The first one is Clara Triton. She is also known as Agent Rose, as we all know in Delta Green. We go by code names and first names. Those are how they identify. So Delta Green agents do not know the others' background or real names. And I have Agent Roland, former FBI, whose agent's name is Agent Marlin. So our friends here were met by their handler in Indianapolis in the last episode. He articulated to us that there was some unusual happenings up in New London, Indiana. 3 strange, unexplainable, tragic deaths. And at the end of the episode, we found some evidence that showed that the 3 people that lost their lives, in some way, they know each other. Based on a picture I found, I think there were 7 people in the picture, 6 or 7, and the 3 victims were in that picture. So we're going to hopefully tonight try to find the others in the picture and see if we can connect the dots somehow.
That's right. Yeah. So the other individuals, yeah, you were escorted by the deputy from the sheriff's office. So the sheriff was a friendly who kind of alerted Delta Green about the strange incidents. She, of course, is not part of Delta Green, but so she reported into some ways that they have of receiving information. And the deputy, who name is Logan, and that's his face right here. He's pretty skeptical about the reason for you being here. You're operating under a cover of as state police investigators, and he identified the other individuals in the photo that are still alive is Philip Shelton, June Levine, Parker Chin, and Bertram Conrad. So, and you had just left one of the victims' residences where she died under rather mysterious circumstances, and talked to a witness across the street who you kind of insulted in the end. But
I think no matter what I would have said, I would probably insulted her in some way.
Yeah, you probably did. But yeah, so that you were doing you were investigating Anika Hart's residence. So she was the second victim. The first victim was a man by the name of Henry Thompson, who was shot at a barbecue by his daughter, but his daughter does not remember the incident happening, and there's questions of whether there will be charges brought against her or not, and they've retained counsel, which I think the sheriff was helping you to kind of negotiate, so you could interview.
Oh, that's right.
So Joyce and Melinda. Yeah. And then the other victim was Devin Holt, who was a surveyor, and he pulled a stop next to a tree that fell over and killed him. Kind of odd and whatnot. So I think that's where you were planning on going next after having visited and sort of investigated Anika's house. So, yeah. So, what do you want to do, man? Oh, sorry. Before we go on, I should note that Delta Green is a game of cosmic horror. So, there can be some material that is troubling for viewers. So, graphic violence, mental anguish, and other horrific themes. So, I just want to make sure folks are aware that could crop up in this scenario, and to make sure you're warned. So, all right, sorry, Doug, jump in. What do you want to do?
We're going to go visit the Tree of Death.
Okay. So, you come back across the street from interviewing the neighbor, and Logan's like, yeah, I'll take you out there. So, follow me. Don't lose me. So, he drives out of town. So he on the map on the screen, number 2 is Anika's house. Number 1 is where Henry Thompson's house was, where he was killed. And then the county road 500 is not visible on the map. It's a little ways out. So you do follow him out. It's a bright blue, clear day, and you kind of go out there, and it's a country road. There's no center line marking. It's actually kind of narrow. Maybe two cars could go in, but they kind of slow down. But sort of that tar and chip, oil and chip road that's out there. And yeah, you pull up. It's pretty clear from a distance that. And you saw in the evidence, you saw pictures of the tree, which kind of looks like it snapped about, I think it was about 4 feet from the ground, and just and fell over. They've obviously cleaned up, so the tree has been kind of pulled over into the ditch. It's still there, but it's no longer in the original position where it fell on Devon's truck. And the stump it still sits up about 4 feet high is there. It's an old oak tree. It's probably about 2.5 feet in diameter, and it it was planted by a farmer there whose property it's on, and it was kind of as a memorial for his son who was killed in Vietnam. So it's been there since the early 70s.
Okay. How long ago was it? I mean, when this tragedy occurred?
Yeah, so this is the accident happened on July 3rd, and you're about a week out from that. That's when Devon's the accident happened with Devon. Anika was the report was June 16th, and Henry was May 26th. That was Memorial Day last year in 2019.
By just visually looking at it, the tree was in good health.
Yeah, again, you're not an arborist, but it doesn't look rotten. The core of the wood is kind of that healthy looking kind of fresh wood color. The bark of surrounding the trunk looks good, and looking at what's on the ground, the leaves, browned and are stuck a lot to the branches, but it looks really healthy, and it was a pretty pretty straight up tree. It kind of had a big split about a couple feet above where it broke, so it didn't even break where like a limb's at in a major section. It kind of broke a couple of feet below that.
Did it break fairly straight across horizontally, or does it more look like a jagged break?
It looks very smooth. The bark's kind of peeled off on the front, but you can almost think that somebody had like taken a chainsaw and just cut it through. Except, that's not an easy task, and you know that.
Is the memorial for the memorial for the son that was lost in Vietnam? Is that tree the memorial, or is there a actual memorial stone,
Yeah.
something, or some representation of a sign or something like that?
Yeah, there's like a little
Placard.
block of stone at the base of the tree that is there. So it says in this tree planted in memory of Edgar Hicks, and Edgar is presumably the son. You remember from the article that the man who planted the tree, his name was Jeremiah Hicks. And
He's the farmer whose tree this sits on.
correct. Yeah.
And there's nothing strange or unusual looking about.
Yeah. So as you kind of look around a little bit, you notice, and it's not really prominent, but you see near the base of the stump, so right close to the ground, a little flame emblem that's kind of where a lot of people may put Doug loves Katie, carved kind of in the tree. It's got that same kind of texture and look, so it looks like somebody kind of carved it, but it's a sort of an emblem of a flame.
Cut into the base of the tree.
Yeah.
Cut into the stump, you said.
Yeah, not deep, just enough to get through the bark.
Fresh?
It looks as fresh as the break.
Okay. Strange. Can I roll to see if I recognize that same emblem anywhere in all the evidence I looked at the sheriff's station prior? And see if it's in any pictures or...
Yeah, I would be good with that. Why don't you roll? I'll let you roll either alertness or search. I mean, alertness for what you kind of remember, I think, is probably the better, since you don't have the documents in front of you to search.
My better skill anyway. Oh, I gotta get under, don't I?
Yep.
I didn't get under for that one.
Okay. Yeah, you don't recall it just standing there, and from the piles of papers that you received and took a look at. You can obviously go back and re-look through the material and kind of see if you see it, but nothing rings a bell just from memory.
Okay. I guess worst case, I could go back at some point to the sheriff's office and look through evidence if I needed to.
Yeah.
If I see it again.
Yeah. You left it in that. She set you up in a conference room, and you
Right.
locked the door behind you from that conference room.
You said Logan's there, right?
Yes, the deputy. Yep.
So I'll turn to him and say, Logan, did you investigate this accident?
Yes, I responded to the call. So Jeremiah even called us, let us know. So I came out and I was, first on site. The paramedics were close behind.
How did Jeremiah know about it?
He was out working the fields, and he saw that the tree was down. So he points to it. So to be clear, it's the only tree along this road. It's not like it's not even a part of a copse of trees or anything like that. There's some clumps of other trees sort of background, but it's the only tree. And he noticed that the tree fell onto a truck, and so he went and looked at, and he found he said he found Devin on the ground, having been struck. So he attempted to administer aid. There was a serious wound on Devin's head, so he took off his shirt and applied direct pressure and tried to do what he could until I arrived, and I took over assisting, and then the paramedics took over when they arrived.
It is obviously questionable why he stopped in the first place, but being it's his dad's property, maybe not so much. Or no, it's not his dad. I'm sorry, got the wrong guy confused.
Yeah, we don't know why Devin stopped. It is kind of strange. Doesn't seem any reason for him to have stopped. But yeah, this wasn't where he was doing a surveying job.
It wasn't like he had the Jeep doesn't show any signs of like a flat tire, that maybe any mechanical type failure that maybe would cause him not to pull over.
No, it was in working order. The tree fell on top of the hood. It's possible that he had it open for some reason. We don't know. And obviously we couldn't ask him, but no flat tires. The vehicle, it started. The truck started, it seems to operate, but was clearly damaged. But I know Devin. He really took care of his vehicles. I mean, he drove all over this county doing surveying work. It was a critical part of his job. So he took good care of his vehicles.
Okie dokie. I've got nothing to look for here I can think of, so onward and upward, I guess.
Okay. All right. Well, I can escort you back in town. Did you? I know the sheriff. She was working on kind of getting some time set up with Joyce and Melinda, but I think that she thought that would probably be tomorrow, given that the lawyer has to come up from Indianapolis. And it's kind of now kind of late in the afternoon. It's probably not going to happen. Do you want to go back to the sheriff's office, or do you want me to take you to the hotel?
No, I think I want to go interview some of these other people that are still alive.
Oh, okay.
But I don't need you to follow me around. I can find them.
Okay. Well, do you need their address or anything? I can.
I do.
I mean, the easiest one is gonna be Bertram. He owns an antique and bookstore directly in town. It's called Bray's Books and Oddities. He's the easiest find. He'll definitely still be there. June, she's a doctor. She's probably at her practice. And Parker, he works in Kokomo at I can't remember. He's some scientist. He does some chemistry stuff or something like that. He talks about it occasionally, and I don't know what the heck he's talking about. And then Philip, I think he works from home. He does some stuff, coding and computers and that kind of stuff. So don't know much more about that, but I believe he does work from home. So I can give you their addresses, you know, but I'll have to go back to the station to look all those up. But Bircham, I know where Bircham and June are at because they'd be at their offices.
All right, I'll go see Bertram first.
Okay. All right. Um, so yeah, so you know, basically you end up, you know, kind of following him back um, into town, given that you're kind of both heading the same place, and it's pretty easy to find. So the Bircham's store. I'm going to pop this up here on Roll20, hopefully. Yeah. So I'm going to increase the size of this sucker. So this is what the building kind of looks like. All right.
Okay.
And it is basically right here, kind of just south of the new London Friends Church.
Okay.
And it's got a sign there that says Bray's Books and Oddities. Yeah, it's got an open sign. It's kind of in need of a paint job. It looks pretty old. Few years of kind of some peeling paint. But other than that, you know, it's actually quite attractive building. It has quite a bit of character. So made a long time ago.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go in.
All right. So you go in, and you know you hear the little bell ring as the door opens and closes, and the space is kind of divided essentially into two. On the left side, as you enter, are a series of bookcases, and you know it looks like it's a collection of used books broken up into their various categories: history, art, fiction, mystery, etc. It has kind of a smell of old books that's there. You see, it's a mix of like hardbacks and paperbacks and mass market paperbacks, and it occupies a pretty good part of the space. On the right side is essentially antique furniture and other sort of like interesting objects. Like you see some kind of sculptures, you see vases. You see what looked to be some like people took some junk and made some artwork out of it. You know, some figures and that kind of lamps and that kind of stuff. So there's some kind of oddities scattered around with all of these. And directly in front of you is a counter. And there you see a gentleman standing. He's kind of he's a tad bit older, probably in his 50s. He's got some thick glasses. Got a bit of a beard, but he's wearing kind of a button-up shirt, no tie, some slacks, and he kind of smiles at you and says, "Hello, welcome to Bray's Books and Oddities. I'm Bertram. How can I help you?"
Hello, Mr. Conrad. We are both Indiana State Police investigators. I show off
Oh,
my credentials.
uh, it,
We're here
he
to
he
kind of follow.
he kind of grabs it, kind of looks at it. It's like, "Oh, okay, all right."
We're here in town, just trying to investigate a couple of the tragedies that have been fairly recent, as you know. I'm sure
Yeah.
you're familiar with those accidents.
Yeah. What does the state police want to do with accidents? I mean, I understand what happened with Henry, poor guy, but I mean that's a while ago.
Yeah, yeah, but we are seeing a pattern of deaths here, and sure it's all coincidence. I'm sure it's all coincidence. I just want to make sure there's nothing else nefarious going on. We're just here to check things out.
Oh, nefarious.
Um,
Yeah, I certainly hope not.
you're not doing anything nefarious, are you, Mr. Conrad?
Oh, God. I, I spend more time with books and old furniture than I do with people. I certainly, if that's nefarious, then yes, but otherwise, no.
Um, mind if we ask you a few questions, sir?
Oh, of course. Yeah, I mean, I of course would be happy to show you whatever you're kind of interested in, but I guess you're not here to check out books or anything like that, or you need some
Well,
furniture.
I might need a book here, but
Yeah,
I don't have the room for any more furniture. But I always enjoy looking.
yeah, yeah, understood. Where are you from? And you from around this area?
No, I'm afraid we're from Fort Wayne.
Oh, okay, all right, all right, yeah. I've been to Fort
But
Wayne a few times, but yeah, yeah. Well, welcome. Glad you be in New London. So,
sure, sure. Okay, so I'd like to look at this photograph, and I have the photograph, I hope still, of the members of that picture, right?
hmm
So I just lay that down, I slide it over to him, and I say, three of those people are dead.
oh, yeah, I know. Such
Can you
tragedy.
can you tell me about this picture? When was it taken, and what was it taken for?
Oh, uh, yeah. I mean that was taken last year. September or October, I think it was. Um, and it was up at we had a kind of a gathering of some friends. So some of us we like to play poker, bridge, kind of have get together, and we've been doing it for a number of years. So we like to engage in some card games, and this is our group. It's just really tragic how what's happened. We were good friends, so. Um, but yeah, so I think we just had the picture. We just took the picture and to kind of uh, memorialize, what we were doing last year. It was kind of a weekend where we played a lot of games.
How'd you all meet? That seems very strange that various people here from very different backgrounds are friends and
Oh
here.
wow. I mean, we're a small town. I mean, I know Fort Wayne's a big city and all, but we know each other. Several of us went to school at the same time together, so yeah, we followed different paths after school, different careers, but we're still here. We're still friends, and so that's a few of us. That's Philip and June and Anika and I were that way. Parker, he kind of came in late, but he visits the bookstore all the time. So and he just he saw us together one time playing some games here, some bridge. He was interested, so we invited him, and he became part of the group. So it's a small town stuff.
For a small town, friends are, like you said, hard to come by, but easy to make, I guess.
Yeah.
You seem, forgive me, but you don't seem so devastated by the deaths.
Well, I mean, it's been a bit of time, so just my outward countenance shouldn't necessarily be indicative of what I feel inside. I lost my wife tragically a few years ago, and I learned a lot about myself and dealing with grief. So I mourn them, and I mourn them in my own way.
I'm sorry about your wife.
Yeah.
What happened?
She had a heart attack. It was Yeah.
Had she had any previous?
No, it was out of the blue. It was out of the blue. It was really sudden. She was making biscuits in the kitchen. I heard the tray drop and ran to her and called the ambulance, and it was just too late.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's a number of years ago, and I poured myself more into this business, and I remember her, and but yeah, it's a tragic day in life sometimes.
So I'm going to start walking around some of the furniture pieces and that side of the building, side of the store,
Okay.
and I want to see if I find or see anything that's unusual.
Okay. Um, yeah. So the furniture you see, it's some of it looks like it would be expensive. Some of it, not so. Um, but it all seems to be in pretty good repair. Looks pretty good. Um, you do notice a version of that picture that you have that is actually sort of in a cabinet. It's got a for sale label for $800, and there is
Picture.
the the cabinet has got a label for like $800. In on a shelf of that cabinet is the photo. There's also a photo of the exterior of Bray's Books and Oddities, a photo of kind of sort of like a New London anniversary engraving kind of thing. And you do notice up at the very top of the cabinet, in the center of it. So, it's got kind of a decorative piece along the top of it. And at the very center, and if you wouldn't really notice it, except you've already seen it on that oak tree, the little bit of the little flame emblem there. It looks like it's part of that particular piece of woodwork. It's not like carved in or anything like this. It's a little decorative motif. Got the stain, it's stained as part of it and stuff like that. But it is the same symbol.
Mr. Conrad, what can you tell me about this beautiful? You said it was a cabinet.
Yeah, kind of like a china cabinet kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a beautiful cabinet. It's beautiful.
Oh,
beautiful.
Isn't it?
It might be the best cabinet I've ever seen.
It's a meticulous and beautiful piece of work. I must say.
It really is.
This is comes from a family that has been in New London for since the founding, frankly. And that's actually June Levine's family. So I think it was her one of her cousins or something that had this piece of furniture and brought it in. But this was made in 1922, so it's obviously not as old as the town. But this was made in 1922 out of cherry. It's been refinished, but using historical techniques to preserve its authenticity. And I've got it marked here as $800. Prices are negotiable here if you're interested, but you can store a whole bunch of china in here. You've got the drawers underneath where you can put some extra items, and store the silverware that you may have. This is just an absolutely beautiful piece. And he kind of opens up the doors. He's pulling it out. You've got the glass front, top doors, solid wooden doors, and it's got some interesting sort of woodwork in it. It's not no symbols or anything like that. Just kind of it's got some notches along the way, kind of evenly spaced. And he's like, this is all, handmade, in the 20s here in New London. It's a spectacular piece.
And you said, I'm sorry, where did you say it came out of?
Oh, New London. It was built here in New London. There used to be a fellow on Main Street that did, made lots of furniture folks in town.
But yeah, did you say it came from the Levine house?
Oh, yeah. So the Levines were a founding family of New London. June, who's one of the people I play bridge with, I think it was her cousin who had this piece, and basically asked me to sell it for him. Yeah, the Levines there's a number of them here. I'm not exactly sure. I can't keep track of all the relationships and stuff like that. I think it's a cousin, first or second cousin, I think.
Does that cousin still live here?
I believe not. He had me sell this for him because he was moving to Chicago. Yeah, I can go look it up. I've got the paperwork. So he goes back to the counter, pulls up wakes up his computer, kind of types it in, and says, "Oh yes, yeah, this was Larry Levine. Yep, yeah. He lived on Main Street there for a while, but yeah, he moved out. I'm pretty sure he went to Chicago. I don't know where. I know I've got a phone number for him. I think it's a cell phone, but I don't have an address for him there."
I'm going to do a thorough search around the whole cabinet, see if I can find any secret compartments or any more identification stuff on it.
Okay. You do, I assume you're just going to kind of take your time. You don't care if Bertram knows what you're doing or anything like that. Yeah, so you take your time. You look through it. You dig through it. You pop open the doors. You look behind the back. You kind of rub your hand along the edges and that kind of stuff. And there's no kind of secret compartments or anything like that.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know where to go from here. So, okay. Well, Mr. Conrad, I'll certainly think about, this piece of furniture. I really, really admire it.
Oh, it's great. It's like I said, price negotiable, so I can come down on that a little ways. And I got shipped. We can ship it to you in Fort Wayne there, so you don't have to take it with you. We can make sure it gets delivered to you safe and sound, all bundled up, all packaged, all looking great.
Okay. Thank you for your time, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I will now go to Levine's.
Okay. Um, so take a couple of these things. All right. So Levine's doctor's office is so recall you're right here is where Bertram's bookstore is. Levine's doctor's office is right here along Main Street, just north of the Johnson Body Shop. It's probably about like 4 o'clock in the afternoon now. So there are a number of cars out in the parking lot. It's a small building. Looks like it's kind of like a converted house, frankly. Um, and you enter. There's a waiting room. There's one person, an elderly lady, sitting there. Some potted plants and that kind of stuff. TV is playing. The what is that channel that has all the shows about houses and remodeling houses, and a politically safe channel for all. There's right now it's showing a tiny house series about people wanting to live in tiny houses, and there's a receptionist there. And she says, she pulls out a clipboard and kind of slides on there and says, I don't think, you're here for, there's no other appointment, so I assume you need to see the doctor for some other reason. So just fill out this. I'll need your insurance card and that kind of stuff.
I'm just going to slide my credentials across right back to her and say, we're not here for, we do not have an appointment, nor are we here for any doctor's required visit or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, state police. Oh, my. Oh. Yeah. Do you need to speak to the doctor?
I do.
Oh, okay. She's. Oh, hold on. So, receptionist gets up and kind of goes back, and she comes back, and she another woman kind of follows her in. So, this person. So that's June. She says, "Hi, I'm Dr. June Levine. Mary here tells me that you want to see me." She leans over.
Yes, we get talking.
She kind of leans around you and says, "Candace, Mary will take you back to the room right now. So, and I'll be with you in just a second. I need to speak with these folks here." So, kind of, she says, "I'm sorry, Candace is my last patient. She's diabetic, so I want to make sure I see her today. But yeah, what can I help you with?"
Well, just a few questions for you, Dr. Levine. Our business here is very surprised by the Iowa State Police here in town, and as you know, there have been 3 tragic deaths. I'm sure you're aware of those.
Yes.
And we're just crossing the T's and dotting the I's to make sure that this is all truly accidents, that there's nothing weird, nefarious going on. Sometimes, if it was, one, I even hate to say that, if there was one death, may not raise so many eyebrows with the state police, but this many deaths, this close together, you just want to make sure that everybody's going to be safe.
Oh, all right. Certainly it seems kind of odd. I don't think anything's nefarious is going on. It's kind of
okay.
But
I slide the picture over.
Yeah.
Yeah. 3 of those people in that picture are dead.
Oh yeah. Yes, I know. It's a small town like this, everyone feels so much bigger than if you were like in a big city or something like that, where everyone knows everyone here. So, oh yeah. Oh, and Nika, she was such a good bridge player. She was so good. Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about that picture? When was that taken?
Oh, I think this was the last fall, I believe. September. I don't think it was in August. I think it was after Labor Day. Yeah, I'm pretty sure of it. I could go back and look at my calendar if it's important. But I think we got together for kind of a weekend of a bridge or pinochle. I won the tournament. So I prefer bridge. I like that game, pinochle, and poker. I'm not a fan of, but sometimes the boys want to play poker. So.
Do you find it strange at all that 3 of these people are dead?
I find it the circumstances around a couple of these quite odd. Yes, I mean, 3 people passing in this kind of a small community is weird. Nika's death is shocking from the fact that you don't expect somebody to get struck by lightning sitting in their home. I mean, it's just I've never heard of that, and but I don't have any other explanation. And the poor Henry Tom, I just I'm guns are so dangerous, and this is potential hazard of owning guns and not and not securing them, and or people not being trained, and it's such a tragedy all around. The fact that Henry died, the emotional consequences to the Melinda, the daughter. I mean, just she killed her father. She's gonna have to live with that for the rest of her life. That's just terrible. And she doesn't remember anything. And I'm not surprised. She's blacked it out, I'm sure.
Yeah. Who took this picture?
Oh, uh, Philip has one of those like a little trigger thing, like on his iPhone, where puts it up on a tripod, and we can all get together, and he's got a trigger, and he squeezes it, and it takes off pictures. I think with Bluetooth is what he's got.
Let's see. And how'd you meet some of these people?
Oh, well, I went to school with Bertram. We went to school together, so we've known each other a long time. And Anika, I think she was a class or two behind us. And I see a lot of these people on a regular basis. Devin was I was his doctor. I didn't see Henry, but I saw his wife Joyce. I was her doctor, so I see Henry in here occasionally. So with her, but it's a small community, so we kind of know each other in that way. Can you have Rose make an alertness check, please?
$59.
59. Is that success?
That's a success.
Okay. So the front part of this doctor's office, it's got a lot of glass. You kind of got a double glass door that was put in place of original sort of like solid door that would have been in a home, and she catches kind of from just a peripheral vision a car that has a person sitting in the driver's seat that's been there for a little while now. It arrived after you arrived, and they haven't moved, and that person has been sitting kind of in that car. So she's it's like it's bothering her. Of course, as I recall, Rose has a disorder of paranoia, right? So,
right.
So that's kind of like creeping in her. Like, why is that person sitting in that car? What are they doing? And that kind of thing. So she just kind of notices that off to the side.
Okay. What kind of car is it?
It is a what's that? It's one of those new muscle cars. What is it?
Charger or Challenger or something?
Yeah, let's call it a Challenger. I can't remember. I don't know my cars well enough. Dodge Challenger or Charger, yeah, or something like that. It's one of those muscle cars.
What color is it?
It is a bright kind of almost lime green.
Ew,
Yeah,
it's too bad.
I mean it's not subtle.
Right. Young guy. I assume it's a male.
It's a little bit hard to tell from the distance, but yeah, younger to middle age probably. So
Okay.
doesn't look like a high schooler, and doesn't and it's not a senior citizen.
Sure. Sure. All right. Back to Dr. Levine.
Okay.
I actually visited Dr. Levine. I actually visited Mr. Conrad a short while ago. Actually,
Oh yeah.
just a really nice man. Very neat store. I have kind of a soft heart for antiques.
Hmm.
I asked him basically the same question I've asked you. Since you're both in the pictures, I've just followed up with everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was just after we got done talking, I decided to kind of walk around because I'm always interested in this stuff. Don't tell anybody because it's on company time. But came
No.
across this awesome looking china cabinet.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And guess what he told me? He said that was your cousin's.
Yes. Yeah. Larry. Yeah, Larry.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yes. I wish he had talked to some of the family about it before he decided to put it over into an antique store. But
Oh, really?
yeah, yeah, it's his to do with as he wants. But yeah, it would have been nice of him to have talked to us before. But there's
Was it?
yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say there's just a bit of history. Big families,
Really?
some things. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, I know that Levines were one of the founding families of New London, so you guys are kind of a big deal, I'm sure, around here, especially with your practice and stuff. You know a lot of people.
Big fish,
So,
small pond. Yes, yes. If you want to look at it
gotcha.
that way, yeah, sure.
What was so unique about it? Because it's so beautiful. I didn't know if it was just aesthetically so pleasing,
Yeah, I mean,
or what.
it's hard to find furniture that's made that way these days. It's solid wood, cherry, beautifully handcrafted. If I go to Kokomo, go to Target, I'm buying particle board that's got some sort of plastic veneer or something over it. It's just hard to find well crafted furniture like that, and it was part of the family, and so it's tough to see that go. So
Sure. Why did your cousin move to Chicago? Seems like the family stayed here.
yeah, well, I mean, ultimately, New London's like many small towns. It's a dying town. There's just fewer opportunities and that kind of stuff. And he got a job up there, so um, he took it. I can't blame him for taking a job up there. He was a software engineer, so there was some companies up there that were willing to hire him, and good pay and stuff like that. And in Chicago, it's a great city, got a lot to do. Not so much here in New London.
Yeah, I understand. There was a really interesting emblem on the top. I've not seen this one before. Like a fire looking, flame looking emblem. It was very unique.
Huh. I'm so I'm not sure I've ever noticed it. So
I'll be darned. I didn't know if it was a family emblem or anything like that.
oh no, emblems we don't know what those are in our family. So yeah. Hey, I I kind of need to get probably check in with Candace here. She's been waiting for a little bit of time. Do you have any more questions, or can we wrap this up pretty quickly so I can check in on my patient?
Yeah, Yeah, no more questions, Dr. Levine.
All right. So I wish you luck. I certainly don't think you're gonna find anything nefarious or anything like that. So
Okay.
You might. No, never mind. So yeah. Um, so June walks back, and you hear Mary just go. Just, it's just I don't know why Larry. Yeah, she's kind of whispering to you. I don't know why Larry won't let her buy that furniture. I just that cabinet. So it's just really weird. I don't understand the bad blood between them. But it's June would buy that cabinet. It's, she's a doctor. She can afford it. But Larry gave explicit instructions that no one's supposed to buy that from the Levine family.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
Thank you.
bad blood there.
Thank you
Yeah.
for letting me know that.
Yeah.
Have they always had bad blood, or is it
Uh,
just over this cabinet?
I think it's kind of a. I think it's been a while that they've kind of had some bad blood. I mean, it's kind of the, you shouldn't talk politics or religion with your family, and I think they talked about it too much.
Understand. Okay. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. So, all right.
I want to stop back by Mr. Conrad's store and get Larry's info.
Okay. All right. Um, so, welcome. Do you want to buy that cabinet, sir?
Actually, I want to talk to Larry about it a little bit. I just talked to Dr. Levine, and I'm really curious about it now. It's really captured my attention, so I want to talk to him a little bit more about it before I buy it.
Oh, certainly, certainly. And he goes back, he types in on his computer. Yeah, okay, yeah. And he writes down the number 555-555-0812. That's the number he gave me. So I know it works because he calls me probably about once a month asking if anyone's had any interest in this cabinet or anything like that. And he's got a few other pieces of furniture in here that he kind of got, is trying to get rid of. So, yeah, so I know it works. So you can call him and ask him whatever he wants.
Why is he so amped to sell it? That's very strange.
I just don't think. I just
price it lower.
Well, it's not like I don't have the space. And I don't want to. We don't want to undervalue it, right? I mean, I don't want to. You want to sell something for what it's worth. A lot of people have looked at it, but no one's really made an offer.
Well, my understanding is June is very interested in it, but he won't sell it to her.
Yeah.
Strange.
Yeah, Larry was, so Larry's pretty insistent. So I didn't buy the cabinet from him, right? I am selling it sort of almost on consignment for him, so I get a take of it, but it's really his control, and he didn't want any of his furniture going to any of the Levines. He was consistent.
Really sounds terrible situation.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's some bad blood between some of the family there, and unfortunately that comes through this way. It's kind of sad. So, but I stay out of other families' issues. So.
Well, thanks again, Mr. Conrad. I'll be in touch.
Yeah, certainly. And as he gives you he also hands you a business card. Call me anytime. Like I said, we can ship that to Fort Wayne for you. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going out to my car to call Larry.
Okay. Um, okay. So you dial it, the phone rings. Hello.
Oh, Patrick, what's my agent's name again?
Oh,
My cover. My
your
cover.
your cover is Frank Barton and Gene Valmer.
I hear the dog barking. Frank Barton and Gene.
Valmer.
Sorry.
Valmer.
Okay. Hello. I'm trying to get a hold of Larry Levine, please.
Speaking. Who is this? How can I help you?
Mr. Levine, this is Frank Barton from the Indiana State Police.
Yeah. Okay. You know I'm in Illinois, right?
I do.
Okay. What's this about?
I'm not interested. This is about your cabinet at Conrad's place. The China cabinet.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, sorry, you had me
Gave me your
scared.
number.
You had me scared there.
Oh no, I'm sorry. No, I guess I should have just said Frank Barton, but I wanted you to know I was like a real person.
Okay. Okay. So no one's hurt or anything in my family. Everyone's. You're not
No, it
calling
sounds
me.
like there's some it sounds like there's some hurt feelings in your
Oh,
family,
you've
but
got to be kidding me. June called the police on me for. It's my cabinet.
no, sir. I was investigating another accident up here in New London. I actually came across your cabinet, and I just was fascinated by it. So this is kind of a side thing. Honestly, I shouldn't probably be calling from my work phone, but I am, and I was just really curious about it. I think it's one of the most beautiful cabinets I've ever seen.
Oh well, thank you. Yeah, I wish I had space up here for it, but I just don't. It's you don't get the same amount of property for the price up here in Chicago as you do in New London. So
I understand. I
yeah.
get it. Uh, can you tell me a little bit about the cabinet? Mr. Conrad didn't seem to have a whole lot of back history on it, which is okay. But I wanted to get it from the guy who actually owned it. What can you tell me about this cabinet?
Oh, I mean, I think my grandfather bought it sometime in the 20s. Is when he bought it, and it was made by I can't remember the person's name, but they had a shop on Main Street in New London that they sold furniture. They made furniture, custom furniture, and stuff like that. And my grandfather bought it. I think it was an anniversary gift for him and grandma, and my parents took it when they passed, and then I took it from them, and yeah, I mean, it's a piece of furniture that passed down through the family. So I took some.
Why didn't it?
Excuse me.
Go ahead. You're cutting out. What did you say?
Oh, I mean, I took what I could that was sentimental value for me. This one, it's beautiful, but it ain't a whole lot of sentimental value. So, it's something I felt okay selling and kind of putting on the market. So, but yeah.
Well, it's certainly sentimental to the family, I would think. I mean, I know that exact feeling, passing things down from one family member to the next. I'm a little surprised, as big as the Levine family is, that nobody wanted it.
Well, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not going to lie to a cop. I know you're just interested in the cabinet, and you're not calling us a cop. But, yeah, I mean, June's asked for it and wants it, but I just can't stand that. I just can't stand her, and I don't want her having it. So I don't care honestly how much sentimental value it has to her or not. I'm not selling it to her. So you know
Hmm.
that. I'm not sure what else to tell
Very.
you, sir.
That's well. I mean, that seems very. Jeez, sounds kind of sad, honestly. If you don't mind me asking, what caused this? I wouldn't want. I don't want to insult it by calling it a tiff, but there's certainly some sort of falling out.
Well, what do they say? Don't talk politics and don't talk religion. We talked about it too much. My June is, all up in arms. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to put it that way to make a pun, but she's all up in arms about the Second Amendment, and we got to heat exchange. She's one of those liberals that wants to take guns away from everyone, and I we got into a bad argument, and we called each other some things, and you can't come back from that. And frankly, that's one of the reasons I left New London. I small town, everyone talking and you know being up in everyone's business. So I just I left, but I don't I have no love lost for her. So you know
Wow.
good for her that she's making a life there, but I have no interest. So I have better things to
I see.
do with my time and with my life.
I understand that, sir. Well, um, again, thank you for your time. It's a beautiful cabinet. I'm not sure I can afford it, but I love knowing and learning a little bit about the history to make sure if it was something I was going to be able to purchase, where it really comes from, because you never know these days.
Yeah. Well, okay. So let's keep Bertram honest. How much is he asking for it?
He's asking $800 for it.
That son of a bitch. How
He
much?
told me it was on consignment, so I'm sure you have a stake in some of that.
I do, but that's not $800. I mean, okay, yes. Would I love to sell it for $800? Of course. But I've told that I've told that man, move it, sell it to move. And I mean, if you can't,
He's convinced that the value is worth that. It's worth $800.
my God, it's like a cult with these people. Ooh, it's so nice, and it's so I don't want to sell it because blah blah blah. It's a piece of furniture.
Sure, I
I mean,
understand.
come on. So it has no sentimental value for me. I I would be fine if that thing sold for $400. It's been there for months now. Come on. I mean, all right.
What what can you, Mr. Levine? Go ahead. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No, I was going to say, what do you want me to? If you've got a price, I'd love to hear it, and I can talk to him.
I do have a particular question about it. That it's one of the things that really drew me to it in the first place. Um, what is the flame emblem all about? I've never seen that before. It just grabbed me at the very beginning.
I'm not honestly. I'm not sure what you're talking about.
It's on the top of the cabinet, on the decorative molding that goes along the top of it. Do you recall ever seeing that?
Mm, no, I don't.
Oh, okay. I could be seeing things. Happens all the time. I was looking at so much furniture that day that it's possible it was just saw it on another piece of furniture and translated it over to yours for some reason.
Well,
That happens a lot to me.
I I lived with it my entire life and just probably never even noticed it. So, but
Yeah, I get that too. I
yeah,
understand.
yeah.
Um, Patrick, as a side note,
Yeah.
I assume I have my own monies.
You
I know
do,
he gave me some discretionary. I know the handler gave me $200 discretionary
yeah, but
cash.
you do have your own funds, yes.
Am I well enough off that it's not a problem?
Ah, interesting that you bring up funds because it actually is dependent. So this is not funds in roll or in Delta Green are not. It's based off of like incidental or basically how sort of like what level of funding it is. And there is, yes. So you've got incidental, which you basically have money for, standard, and that kind of stuff. So, where is that? Okay. So I would say this is probably, I think, an unusual expense. So the levels are standard, unusual, major, and extreme.
Okay.
So, um, well, let's see. Maybe it's a standard expense. All right. Make an intelligence roll to see if you have, or an accounting if you've got accounting, to see if your agent has enough free cash or credit available.
Accounting, or what was the other one?
Intelligence. So you take your intelligence times 5, which I think on the Roll20 sheet is just
That'd be 90.
Yeah. So I think if you just
That's
click
significantly
intelligence,
better.
it just rolls the percentage
Okay.
for that.
Oh, barely. Woo.
Okay. Yeah. So
For those watching, the goal is to for those watching on Twitch and YouTube or whatever. In Delta Green, you roll under for successes. You have to roll under the stat level. So in this case, my intelligence is 90%. So I barely made it as a success at 88%, but
and
it's still a success.
And that's a critical.
Because
success.
It's a we have if you have 11, 22, 33, 44, 55, etc., all the way up to underneath your stat level, then it is a critical. So in this case, 88 would count as a critical.
That's right.
Good catch. I didn't even see that.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, you have the cash for this available, and it's actually not a problem. Like it's you wouldn't feel this at this kind of for some reason you've saved some of your law enforcement money back. So yeah, you've got it. Not a problem.
Is this something that'll fit my Jeep?
No.
I should have it sent over to the sheriff's department.
Bertram will ship it anywhere. He was pretty insistent on that.
Well, I want June to know I own it.
Okay.
I don't even know if I'm from Fort Wayne. I made that up. So I'm not exactly sure why I would even have it shipped. I do want to investigate the emblem more.
Yeah. Hey, you were going on the fly with your with your background, so.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell old Lair boy that I'm gonna buy it. So back to this conversation on the phone.
Okay.
So back to being Larry. Mr. Levine, you've actually sold me on it. I'd like to do 400 if you're okay with that.
Absolutely, I'm okay with that.
If you could call Mr. Conrad and tell him of our negotiated price, I can make arrangements with him to
Uh,
pick up the piece.
he will be my next call. I will call him right now. Absolutely.
Very good, sir. Thank you for working with me on it. Thank you for the history on it. I'm sorry for your family problems.
Ah,
Like
Thank-
I said, I was here on state police business, but then I came across this wonderful antique.
Yeah. No. Well, thank you. I appreciate your interest. So absolutely, and I, I don't know. Yeah, I'll call him, and thank you for the work that you do as a state trooper. So I know that's a tough job. So
When did you move to Chicago?
it was 6 months ago. So back in January.
So, are you familiar with all the tragedy that's happened here in New London since around that time?
No. Well, what do you mean? What
Isn't this
tragedy?
Patrick, isn't this within the last 6 months?
Yes. May, June, and July. So yes.
So he would have been here.
No, he
All
moved.
the-
He moved in January. He said
Oh, okay. What month are we in right now?
July.
July. Okay. Oh, there's just been some accidents here in town, Mr. Levine, that have been a little bit curious, and that's why we're down here.
Accidents.
Some of June's friends have seemed to have met some strange ends to their lives. I'm sure it's nothing to trouble you.
Like who?
Oh, I think the first was a man named Henry Thompson.
Henry? What happened to him?
Yeah, Henry. Do you know him?
Yeah, I know him. Yeah, we play basketball at the Y.
Well, I can't go into too many specifics as we're under investigation, but I mean, obviously, it's out in the media. Some of the details. His daughter shot him at a cookout.
Oh my
and,
God.
she doesn't recall any of that. Yeah.
Oh, I'm looking at it now. Oh my God. Oh, Henry's such a good guy.
Yeah, that's what it seems to be the view here in London. And then there was Annika Hart. Do you know her?
Oh, yeah, I know Annika. Both. Yeah. Ugh. What happened to her?
Well, she seems to have been electrocuted in her home.
What?
And then the third was a man named Devin Holt.
Yeah, jackass. Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Sorry.
really?
Sorry. I shouldn't say ill of the dead. It's obviously I wouldn't wish that on anyone. But what? Oh, wow, that's a
Fell on
lot.
him.
Oh my God, a tree?
What? Yeah, it's weird. He pulled over one day next to a tree and it snapped off and killed him. Did you know?
What
Did you
the
know him?
hell? Yeah, I knew Devin. He was out there with surveyor. He got his surveyor license from one of those dime a dozen places, and he'd go out and make trouble all over the place. People calling, "Hey, right, fist line, blah blah blah." He thought he was all big
Well.
shit and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, you got to make a living. I mean, surveying is a good living.
well, yeah, you have to make a good living, but you don't have to be a jackass about it.
Well, what do you mean? You wouldn't have hired him?
Well, I had no need for a surveyor. I mean, people can just be jackasses just because they think they're bigger and better than anyone else. And Devin thought he's a surveyor.
He had a kind of an ego on him, huh?
Yeah, come on. You should see him at the American Legion softball games. It's like he thought we were playing the freaking World Series. I mean, come on. I mean, it's a
I remember
softball
those in
game.
my younger days. Yeah, it was very serious business for many of those people. You're right, too serious for some.
Yeah, come on. I mean, dude, you had a
Right?
you had a beer gut. I mean, come on. I mean, woo, you hit a home run. I mean, what the hell? I mean, Jesus.
The sad thing is he left a wife and a couple of kids.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I don't wish that kind of stuff on anyone. But
Well, June certainly liked him as a friend. They played
yeah,
bridge and poker and pinochle and God knows what else together.
I'm not sure June liked anyone. So, but
Oh wow!
but yeah,
Sure
she.
seemed to like these. She knew all these three people too. So
Well, yeah, it's a small town.
I actually saw a picture of them with some of them. Small town. That's true.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, she was in that club. They played bridge or something like that. I mean, that's what they did. So it's kind of weird. So you know,
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
it's not like anyone could like you would think that they would have like open sessions or something like that, but they were all like, you know, you have to be part of the group, to play bridge. And yeah, sorry, you probably
Sure,
didn't see
like
my
a.
can't see my air quotes over the phone. uh, you know, but you have to be part of the group. It's like it's fucking bridge. I mean, come on.
Sure. Was there a vetting process for the group, or did they just like if they liked you, you were in? If they didn't like you, they'd tell you to go to hell, or what?
I mean, you'd ask if you could go play bridge, or and they'd say no. I mean, they would give you a
They told
reason.
no. Yeah. Do you know of anybody they said no to that was
Well,
upset about it?
said no to my wife, and there's probably a half dozen people I could rattle off that said no to.
Did your wife go with you to Chicago? I hope. Got away
Yes,
from home.
yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, she hated that.
Bridge
She
is
hated
not
me
a
looking.
simple game. It's a complicated game. I've always wanted to learn how to play it, but I don't
Well,
have
don't
much
ask
time. It
them. They
seems
won't
like.
teach you.
Maybe you can teach me someday, Mr. Levine.
Yeah, well, Eisenhower, President Eisenhower, he played it, so it's a good game. It's a fun game, competitive, but I mean, not part. It's not like all exclude. Oh, I don't know. Small
It's not
towns.
like
I'm so glad
Dungeons
I
and
left.
Dragons where anybody can play, right?
Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, you might be called up for being Satan worshippers in New London for doing that.
Oh, surely not.
Yeah,
Surely not.
yeah.
Surely not. You would stay in GM. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, thank you for your time. Enjoy the Def Leppard concert. All right.
All right. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Okay. So, some interesting info from that phone call, actually. I'll just kind of look out the window and see if Can I see if Mr. Conrad gets a phone call? Is the front checkout desk visible through the windows or anything?
No, not really.
I'll just go in there again.
Okay.
Mr. Conrad, I'm sure you're tired of seeing me cross your doorstep. Oh, I'm sorry.
Are you? Are you sure? I mean, Larry, come on. That's steel. So, all right. I'm sorry. They're here. Okay. You hear Larry? Sell the damn thing. It's been there for months. It's charged $800. Oh, all right. It's okay, Larry. Okay. All right. I'm doing it. Okay. All right. Bye. What's that? Well, apparently you decided to go around me and make a deal.
Sir, I'm all about getting the best price for my money, and it sounds like I may not have been getting the best price for my money.
I think you're
Um,
getting a steal. I'll be frank with you, Mr.
I
Barton.
am here to make arrangements to make arrangements for shipment of my
Yep.
steel.
Larry's made it
Very proud
clear.
of it.
Larry's made it very clear. So
I'm sorry. You feel I went around you. I think
it's not
always
anything
just
about
been
feel, sir.
of
You
the-
did. So
I'm
whatever,
just looking at it like this.
whatever. It's yours.
If you have a problem with getting some of your business, then if it's so much trouble, I would like you to not deliver it to Fort Wayne. I'd like you to deliver it to the sheriff's department. And then I turn around and I walk out.
All right, sir. Are you going to give me the money?
Oh, you're interested in my money now. Earlier you were just interested in bitchy. You want my money?
If you want me, Larry said you were buying this for $400.
I lay out 4 crisp $100 bills on the counter, very slowly, looking at him, not looking at my bills, and I walk out.
All right. And you
See you
hear
at the sheriff's department.
Yeah.
Cling, and then I'm out the door.
ding, bell rings. Okay.
Def Leppard. All right.
Pyromania.
I know, right? One-armed drummer. What time is it? Not real time, but in Delta Green.
Yeah, it's probably now getting about 5:30 or so.
Okay, so if I'm correct, I've got Philip still to see. And who was the other one? Parker?
Parker, yes.
Is that it? Or am I missing one more?
Nope.
Shelton.
Yeah, Philip. Yeah, Philip
That's
Shelton.
Shelton.
Yeah.
I'm going to head back to the sheriff's department and let them know I have a delivery coming.
Okay. You find Logan there packing up for the evening, and the sheriff, she pops out. She says, "Joyce will see you tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. So she'll have her lawyer there. Melinda will be there, but they'll make themselves available to you."
Very good. Thank you for setting that up. I actually bought some furniture today.
No, you did. Where from?
I did, from Conrad's place.
No, Bertram. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting piece from the Levine family, actually. I hope you don't mind, but I'm having it shipped here. It'll be here tomorrow. Thank you for your time. And then I walk out.
Okay. You can feel the stunned look on their face, or they like, what?
Exactly what
What's
I
going
would
on?
believe. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, then I think since I've got that interview set up for tomorrow at 9, then I will also try to hit up the other 2 tomorrow as well after staying the night in the hotel. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Any sign of our friend in the muscle car?
Why don't you give me an alertness? Both. Did Rose tell Roland what she saw?
Oh yeah, that's probably good clarification. Yeah, of course.
Okay. So
I
both.
wonder if he's aware of her paranoia.
Yeah, it's ultimately going to be up to how much they've shared and what you think they've shared. So, based off of last session, they do not know each other's real names, which is perfectly fine. In fact, Delta Green would frown on sharing of real names, but it is fairly common because the cells work together so often that a lot of times they end up sharing their real names. But at this point in time,
Surely Delta Green agents pick up on other people's disorders, right?
yes, I would suspect over
Like he
time.
could tell she was nervous or something about that.
Yeah,
So
I
let's just say for theater of the mind that he notices after they left the doctor's office. Let's rewind and go back in time.
yeah
That he noticed that something was bothering her. He caught her looking out, a few times out to the window. He asked her about what she saw. She said, "I saw this car and somebody in it." Um, I
yeah
don't know if it's my paranoia, as you are well aware, Agent, but it's something that caught my attention. And he just says he just puts it in the back of his mind. Understood. Uh, we'll just keep an eye out on it. If I see it, then we'll know that it's not part of your paranoia. Fair enough. And she says that's good enough for me. There you go. Does that work?
that works for me. Yeah,
So do you want her to roll the check, or do you want him this time?
I think both
I
of
have
them
him
can.
do it
Yeah.
since he needs to verify. Okay, and we're doing alertness.
Yes.
He's got good alertness, and he rolled way the frick over it. Okay, let's try her. Hers is not as good. Not as good. Only 20%. Ah. Okay. Neither one passed.
Okay.
So they don't see a car. That is mind-boggling.
Well, no. So it's a small town. So and it's a lime green Dodge Challenger or Charger, whatever that muscle car is.
Right.
So it's not like it's inconspicuous. Here's so what we'll say is that she does not notice it following them per se, right? It's not like they leave and drive back over to Bircham's and they see this car follow them. But what she does see is the car is, oh, wait, they went back over to Bircham's since now it's on, she sees it on Peru Street. No one inside the car this time. So she sees it, but she can't say for certain like, oh, it followed us. She is obviously aware enough that it's a small town, so hey, it wouldn't be unreasonable that they would see it, but her paranoia is going to heighten this, right? Like, what? Why is that there? I keep seeing this car, so her paranoia definitely is going to exacerbate her uncertainty about what she's seeing with this car.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. I just posted it in chat, but we have 2 people in our Twitch live participation. We have a whole 2 viewers, Lurks and Needham. I do not know who you are. Maybe I do know who you are, but I don't know
your handles, your Twitch handles.
Your handles. So if this is our mother, then hello, Mom. If it's not, then that's weird. Yeah, glad to have you guys here with us.
Yep. Awesome. Thank you for joining.
Okay, back to the show.
Yeah. So you're going to go, there's like a crappy hotel.
Yeah.
Out on the county roads towards Kokomo. So each of you have a room. It's 1-story motel, right? It's nothing fancy. There is like a McDonald's and that kind of, there's a couple of fast food restaurants there. So yeah, tell me a little bit about like, what the evening is like for Roland and Rose.
Well, I'm sure they are gonna get a bite to eat locally. Maybe not McDonald's, but if there's a family restaurant or something like that in New London, I'm sure there's a fabulous place there now that I would love to
Yeah.
try to visit someday if anybody from New London is watching.
So Gina and I were talking about this earlier. Gina's my wife for listeners, about how small towns, particularly Paris, right? There was like 4 or 5 like locally owned restaurants that you like didn't actually know the names of the restaurants.
Right,
Like
right,
the most you knew, it was like, oh yeah, it's Gerald's, or it's you know it's Phillips restaurant, like they,
right.
so, but they had like the same food, but it was good, like, it's
Greasy
yes,
spoons. Yeah.
yes, but tasty. So yes,
You
there's
don't want to know you don't want to know where the sausage is made in those places, right?
new,
Just give
and
me my burger or my biscuits and gravy, and we'll call it good.
that's right, and you don't want to see the state health report on it or anything like that. But yes, absolutely. So there's a couple of
There
places
may not
like
have
that.
been any in that town actually.
Yeah, there's a couple
That's
of
what I want.
places. Okay, yeah. Logan can tell you that if you'd like, or the hotel guy can tell you that. So, the,
That's fine.
okay,
So we'll go eat dinner at one of these fine establishments. Discuss what we saw today. Share notes. Bounce ideas off of each other. Talk about my purchase of a piece of furniture. Kind of a bizarre day, but I feel like I've gotten a lot more clues than I did
okay.
last time.
So have Rose make a history check.
Oh, she's super good at history.
-20 though.
She's a -20, so it's 80. So I've got to get under 60.
Yes.
Woohoo! Barely
Ooh.
again. This is
Okay.
still a success.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as she's going through this town, and particularly when when you guys are at the Bray's Books and Oddities, on the map you can see that there's a thing called the Friends Cemetery,
Right.
and she has sort of in the back of her mind she read it someplace. There was something back in some history class or some history book that she read that New London is actually somewhat famous for a set of tunnels beneath the Friends Cemetery.
What?
It's theorized that it was used by the Underground Railroad, as so because Indiana
Right.
was a pathway, so Westfield, my hometown, New London, Friends Cemetery, so they had to have hiding places, ways to sneak escaped slaves north, and and it's just like it's like this thing that's sort of like at the tip and edges of her memory that New London's actually got this sort of history that extended beyond sort of just local lore.
It's good to know. We'll have to go out there probably tomorrow and see
Yeah. So
what it's all about.
it's a theory. They don't know what, it's just, it seems logical that the Underground Railroad would use these sort of like caverns beneath the, and of course new friends, the Friends being the Quakers were very anti-slavery.
Hmm. Okay.
All right. So you have dinner. You kind of share this information. She kind of gets at this idea. She sees the lime-colored Dodge Charger, a couple of streets over from the restaurant as you're leaving. So
Wait, she knows this what?
that car that's been,
Oh, the same car.
yeah, it's like I said, it's pretty conspicuous. Hey, I'm a line, you know.
Yeah. She points to it, and how does an Agent Marlin, does he see it?
Yeah.
All right, so confirmed. Following.
Yeah.
Just parked or driving by?
It's parked. It's right under a streetlight.
Right under a streetlight. That's. He tells Agent Rose to stay here and to call him if she sees any signs of trouble. He's gonna go out and walk by the car.
Yeah, there's no one in the car that he can see, and it's legally parked. So
I want him to take a picture of the plates.
okay. So it is. So I'm going to type in the plate for you. It is a custom plate.
Indiana?
Yes. So that's the plate. It's a 0. So Romeo 0.
Gotcha.
I don't know my NATO code very well. GER1. Roger 1.
Gotcha. Okay. And he'll walk back in.
Okay.
Got the plate, Rose. I'll check it tomorrow.
All right. Okay. So you go back to the hotel.
Yep. We'll get a night's rest.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that's probably a good place to stop before proceeding on to the next day. What do you think?
Sounds good.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. So thanks, folks, for watching, and we will definitely be picking up the game again in the future. So appreciate you watching. If you like it, what we're doing, please follow us. Let us know in the comments. So yeah.
Check us
Doug?
out on Facebook.
Yep. Two Brothers Gaming.
Two Brothers Gaming. Feel free to spread the word too. It's a work in progress, but we'd love to have more people interested in the same things we're interested in. So grow the
Absolutely.
community, so to speak.
Awesome.
Come on,
All right.
Doug.
Awesome. So what I'll probably do is we'll go to break, and then I will send the actual. We'll raid the High Shelf Gaming, our friends over there. They're doing a Cyberpunk session, so we'll just send all our folks over there. So awesome. Thank you, folks. Have a great evening.
Good night.